Have you ever made a mistake so important that you make a deal with the devil?
Well, personally I haven't, but I know your mother certainly has.
Okay, but shut up. These two men did exactly that and, ironically, became Hell's Bane and the boogeyman of the underworld.
Albert Simmons, the hellspawn of death and the curse of the gods themselves.
And the Doomslayer, the guy who made Hell his bitch and slays any demon in his path to their doom.
These two men literally tore their way to the top, rising above the ranks as the ultimate murder machines of hell.
But let's see which one of these badasses will win in this fictional feud.
It's like Family Feud. It's so awesome. As a badass and deadly soldier, Albert Francis Simmons was practically the best the military had to offer, but when he got tied up into some bad shit, this fucker just went up and decided to kill him off. Yeah, it sucks to suck, I guess.
After his death, Simmons wound up in Hell, where he met one of Hell's demon lords, Malbolgia.
More like Magnum Ballsia.
Desperate to see his wife again, Simmons bargained a deal with Magnum Balls. It was pretty simple. He would see his wife, and Simmons would have to serve as captains of Hell's armies.
But in usual demonic manipulation fashion, he was tricked, and Spawn was left with a fate worse than death. Now reborn as this silly looking goober, and his wife now remarried to another man, and now with a child. Al kinda snapped and swore revenge on the Muppet of a man, now known as the Spawn.
Simmons many useful benefits. He gained many nifty abilities such as superhuman strength, speed, and his body now being entirely covered in necroplasm. A hellish battle that allows Simmons to use his power to heal wounds and regenerate from major injuries.
But he's not just restricted to these either. Spawn can feed off the evil and sins of others, making it easier to increase his own necroplasm. And to top that off, Spawn wears a special living suit called the K7 Letha, which has access to a lot of weapons to choose from.
For example, Spawn can create chains, claws, spikes, and various other weapons using Letha, and on occasion, use Letha as an axe. Letha can also act as a cloak to protect Spawn and alert him on any incoming threats. Letha's only limitation is Spawn's imagination.
And don't forget its best use. Spawn's patented balls blocker from the hit 1997 movie from the year 1997 based on the character of Spawn. Spawn.
Of course, it's easily Spawn's most defensive option against the forces of evil. Who knows what diabolical evildoers wish to kick him in the dick?
And that's not even one of the weirdest things Spawn's imagination has led him to. For some reason, he's always so focused on making his cape the longest thing in existence. Why would you possibly need this cape to be this long?
I mean, I don't know, it looks pretty average to me, maybe slightly above.
And with a mind of her own, Letha and Spawn practically double as a team. So if the Venom comparisons weren't strong enough, then there you go. Whenever Spawn is focused on the fight at hand, the Letha can use her attention for defensive options.
However, Letha also feeds on necroplasm as well, and if she uses too much of it, Spawn will be forced back to Hell, which makes it a good thing that Letha can feed off the evil and sins of others, like Spawn, and more often than not, have necroplasm or sins to feed on.
Spawn also has access to an insane amount of abilities. With his necroplasm or Letha, he has flight, illusion creation, telepathy, telekinesis, acid spit, fire breath, animal manipulation, duplication, precognition, teleportation, technology manipulation, soul manipulation, matter manipulation, phasing, shapeshifting, mind manipulation, resurrection, time manipulation, portal creation, and way more. But what might be his most useful power is his reality warping, being able to completely change reality as he desires, essentially restarting and remaking his own universe as well. Note that this is a separate feat from when he did basically the same thing as Godspawn.
Plus, Spawn has shown he can control vast quantities of the elements, waves of water and fire to annihilate whole groups of enemies, control over the weather and storms, and control over the earth itself. However, with all these godlike abilities Spawn has available, since Simmons spent most of his time training in the USMC Special Forces, Spawn is most comfortable using his neutral special, a gun.
Like a true marksman, Spawn is very capable of using pretty much every gun known to man, along with a lot of other weapons, such as an axe like mentioned before, but also some swords, chains, a portable cannon, and the Sword of Spirit. A sword crafted by God in Limbo, being as strong as God himself, but in a cool, swordy form that can battle off Satan.
And with all these weapons and powers, Spawn has faced an insane variety of opponents throughout his 30-year run in comics. He's defeated assassins, cyborgs, clowns, vampires, ghosts, angels, demons, other hellspawns, deities, gods, and just straight up God and Satan themselves.
That's nothing, I'm sure he's like building level.
That's right, Hippo. While Spawn's feats may look impressive, he's actually incredibly weak. I'm just kidding. Spawn very casually smashes and throws building around with ease, constantly kills demons that threaten the survival of towns, cities, or the world itself. But more impressively, Spawn's comparable to the Kron destroying tons of stars, male Bolshevik creating his own realm, Angela shaking dimensions, the obvious god creating the universe, and Spawn's shout that shook all of creation itself.
So, yeah, like, wall, right? But yeah, I guess being more serious for a second, Spawn's universal and multiversal speeds are very consistent. Even without his god form, which we are excluding because it's not particularly standard. But really would just go more to support his absurd power level. Like how he could fight off Satan, who is equal to God in his blatant universal power. It could even kill Malbolgia in his potential omnipotent and present power. He's not too shabby in speed either, dodging bullets, lasers, and can battle angels who can move 1,000 light years away in what we can assume to be 5 seconds. This count could vary, but based on the general idea of how long it would take to read the comic, this would come out to be over 1,051,987,035 times the speed of light. And keep in mind, Spawn's quite a bit faster than Angela, and potentially much higher with how many characters have crossed health circles in a short period of time, and finding Elysium, which touches all parts of time, and Spawn himself could potentially have a direct and measurable feat within breaking time.
With all this power, it shouldn't be too surprising Spawn does basically whatever he wants. When Al was brought back to Earth after becoming a Hellspawn, he found out that 5 years has gone by and his wife has married his best friend and had a child. Yikes.
Oh, but that's not all. Spawn willingly chooses to shapeshift himself into the form of his best friend, and then has sex with his ex-wife as a final goodbye of sorts. Not a great look, Al. Not a great look.
Spawn then mainly aimed to kill a bunch of criminals who get up to not so great activities, and not to be super annoyed by Magneto Balsium's monitors for Spawn, the Violator.
What a little goofy goober. And this wouldn't be the last time Spawn meets some strange faces. God, Satan, Angela, Batman, Sonic, Invincible, and a bunch of other Marvel and DC heroes and villains. But what Spawn truly wanted wasn't to kill a bunch of criminals or meet iconic characters. He wanted to be free from Malbolgia and decided to escape from his control.
And that's when he actually did it. It took a while, but Spawn completely took down Male Bulge and became a free man.
And then there's a ton of other storylines where different shit he has to go through. No, let's not worry about that right now. Spawn finally reached his peak and proved that he is stronger than the forces that once commanded him, making him seem to many as one of the most unstoppable forces in all of comics.
But Spawn isn't without his weaknesses, of course. Spawn is weak to necroplasm magic, his own necroplasm running out if he overexerts himself, being decapitated, and finally, holy weapons.
Despite these shortcomings though, it hasn't gotten Spawn's way for too long. He usually finds out building some kind of immunity to them throughout the years, or just powers through the pain blatantly. Like we said, he can beat and battle many powerful forces and literally became a god before giving it up. Must have been boring, I guess.
Spawn overall has been seen to be very into making himself weaker after gaining immense power. Probably takes it as a sign of power to prove he's better than people or gods even without them. Even standing up to his Muppet Overlord and killing him, ending his puppetry once and for all.
Through battling angelic beings, killer clowns, or just straight up demons, Spawn will be there to prove that he is above them all.
No matter heaven or hell, if you stand in his way, you're gonna face the Spawn.
A father and son. So right now all is gone. So tonight I'm scattering the ashes. I'm scattering the ashes. I'm scattering the ashes.
What if I were to tell you that hell crumbles at the thought of one man?
Well, it sounds like that man must be the strongest MF around. Like, someone who can casually bench press planets and universes without breaking a sweat.
Well, what if I were to tell you that he killed all of hell just because they killed his pet rabbit?
Well, you know what? That's raw as fuck.
Well, to start, we gotta go to the future, baby, to meet some random Marine.
In the future, an organization would arise called the United Aerospace Corporation, or the UAC, and they would start to populate the planet of Mars. Elon Musk reference?
And one soldier would be sent out due to him beating the ever-living shit out of a superior officer. His name? Flynn Taggart.
And he would get extremely bored at the space station, until average human curiosity got some demons knocking on their door on their moon base.
When his squad got there, Flynn fell behind. Which, what ended up happening is that when Flynn got back to his group, he saw his whole squad slaughtered. And not only did he see his squad slaughtered, but when he got back to Earth, he saw his family and his pet rabbit killed.
From that day forward, he swore one thing and one thing only, to rip and tear through every demon that stands in his way.
Typically, in another timeline, he would go down to hell and kill every demon possible. However, in this timeline, he somehow got stranded in a dimension called Argent Dinner.
While he would set out to accomplish his goal, he would do it so well that he would get beaten and scarred due to the Judgment Day of the Dark Ones arriving.
Some new race known as the Sentinels picked him up and took him to the higher-ups from a place called Argenta.
Yet, when they picked him up, they would hear him keep repeating the same phrase, rip and tear, rip and tear, rip and tear.
Which the Sentinels would test him by throwing him into a coliseum and making him fight.
And again, he would do this so well that he beat everyone there, and the Sentinels just thought, hey, let's send this mammoth to the front lines.
At the time, the Sentinels believed in this prophecy where a Marine would randomly come down and help end demon lives. And well, that day pretty much came to them.
And with that, the Sentinels switched to Urgent Energy as their main fuel source, which made him into an even better demon-killing machine.
Then this guy called the Seraphim would take note of this, to which he dragged him out and gave him an actual god powers. Thus, the Marine was no more, and he became
The Doom Slayer.
Which made his goal to kill all demons a whole lot easier, and made him lead several victories for the Sentinels, and the demons would try everything in their power to take this guy down.
including sending a big-ass Titan, which, can you guess what happened?
He killed the thing.
Yes, he fucking killed the Titan. Suffice to say, the demons at this point were pretty fucking desperate for this motherfucker's downfall. So what they did was they strapped his ass down and dropped a city on him.
To which he would take a nap in a coffin for quite some time. But after a decent bit of time passed, some dumbass found him and was like, hey, let's not bring this guy back up. While this bot, Samuel L plus ratio Hayden, was like, hey, let's bring this guy back up.
So that robot would wake him up and give him his old suit. And he would make Slayer do his dirty work, which Slayer did this with absolutely zero problem.
Which consists of a lot of guns, such as some basic bitch stuff like rifles, shotguns, pistols, miniguns, rocket launchers, laser cannons, and
chainsaws. Besides that, he has other tools such as the Predator-style shoulder cannon, which can purge motherfuckers, and 3 things that solve every problem: flames, ice, and explosives.
He can also double jump and has a dash. Finally, he has access to these things called runes, which are more or less just perks that give him benefits to his stats, such as one-time resurrection, time slowing, quicker movement, yeah, etc.
Suffice to say, Slayer is quite versed in the world of free speech, but all would pale in comparison to the big one. The thing that would power a rail cannon capable of blasting holes into planets, the BFG 9000, or the acronym, the Big Fucking Gun 9000.
Actually, Galil, that isn't even his strongest weapon. that really cool robot from a little bit ago just wanted the Slayer to get this thing called the Crucible, which was protected by a lot of demons plus these gatekeepers. But later on, he would gain a badass sword and hammer that could kill the demons and even titans.
To which, after he got the thing charged, it got ripped away from that robot motherfucker. Fucking idiot, don't agree.
Okay, Glow, ease down on the racism. But basically, after Sam got the thing, he took it to Earth and propelled humanity into new heights. However, the demons also soared to new heights as well.
So, the Slayer would develop this cool new base, and after upgrading his suit, came down to kill every single demon on Earth, starting with this guy. And now, his new goal was to achieve ultimate demon extinction. And the first step was to kill these 3 Hell Priests,
which sent him all around the world, from your average stroll in Ohio, icy fortress, and giant demon nest. What's the difference? During said expedition, he got wind of news that some big-ass goat was gonna come down and kill everything. So naturally, he completely believes it, and gets this cool new knife.
And on his way to kill the last Hell Priest, this motherfucker, the Con Maker, warned about going any further. And well, in classic Slayer fashion, he marched up to the Hell Priest and well, fucking killed him. The Con Maker, being pretty fucking pissed, decided that she was going to summon and control the Icon of Sin, and the Slayer decided to go to Urdak and find the Con Maker, and hit her with a massive L+ ratio and stop the connection between her and the Icon of Sin.
However, this does mean that he kinda unleashed the Icon of Sin. A minor inconvenience. A silly willy little goober, as one would say. And on his way out, Chum Chum stops him, but the Slayer just said fuck off and just beat him down. Yet another god on his list.
Now it's time for his final destination. He goes back to Earth and fights the Icon of Sin, and after a long, grueling battle, he finally kills him. But his mission isn't over. His next step, whoever created these motherfuckers, to which he started getting the Seraphim, which it turns out it is Samuel Hayden the whole time, and then goes to the Blood Swamps to retrieve the Life Sphere. And well, the Slayer, wanting to end the cycle, destroyed the Father Sphere and took the Dark Lord Sphere.
He took the Soul Sphere to now corrupted Urdak to resurrect and spawn camp the Dark Lord, and after his little 469th time killing demonic presences, the Seraphim got corrupted. And again, the Slayer exercised his Second Amendment. Then after all of that, he finally got his answer to who was powering them and creating them. It was, plot twist, himself. The fuck is this Mortal Kombat ass right?
Don't worry about it. But to sum up a whole DLC arc, the Slayer gets the hammer and then gathers an army, and then goes up to the creator of the verse, aka Devoth, aka God/Satan, aka himself, and kills him, but also dies.
Basically, he was so bloodthirsty that demons literally fed off of him, so he killed himself to destroy them. Very raw.
But with that, we need to discuss stats.
Let's start off with speed. He has this feat where he dodges some meteors which spawn from the Icon of Sin. However, he has piloted a ship from one of the UACS Mars moon bases to the core of Mars, which could get the low end of faster than light.
Now, time to get into the rabbit hole known as his strength. Basically, to start off his big guns, the BFG was able to power a weapon to put a massive hole in the core of Mars, so more or less around multi-continental. However, that pales in comparison to his actual physical strength. As mentioned earlier, he was able to go toe-to-toe with these big-ass titans and Devoth, the creator of the Doomverse, which has been stated that it is indeed infinite.
So that kinda means this guy is able to fight on a high complex multiversal level.
Or, in small brain terms, he is quite strong. Besides that, hacks-wise, remember that sword and hammer? Well, those fuckers can negate durability, and the sword itself is able to kill a titan.
However, this goes into his weaknesses as well. For one, those powerful weapons have a limited amount of uses, so a smart opponent would just kinda egg him on until he's drained of his resources.
Along with that, he needs to be up close because he gets his healing from his enemies, which is a double-edged sword. It's good if your enemy can regenerate, however a smart opponent could just egg him on.
Another additional factoid about this man is that despite being the biggest menace to society, he often shows signs that he's still human, has compassion.
Such as when he created a Backbow Vega before nuking him and letting this one nerd help out. He really doesn't want people to get caught in the crossfire and really doesn't want any more war casualties.
However, at the end of the day, he achieved the world that he wanted. at the cost of his own life.
Yeah, with a lot of ammo, blood, and guts. Huge guts.
So if you call yourself a demon, you should be scared of this man, as he will show no mercy towards you.
Oh, silly willy little hippo, this is no man. He is the Slayer.
Alright, the guns are loaded and the demons are doomed. Who will win?
I don't know, probably the one that kills demons.
Golo, I will slap the shit out of you. I do not care about the consequences.
Let's see who wins this fictional feud.
There. Get the hell out of my way. Trying to piss me off. You picked the wrong day to mess with me. This is pissing me off. You don't stand a chance. Get lost. I'm sick of this. Damn, this can't be.
Man, Spawn really pushed Slayer to the limit, but yeah, on to the conclusion. At first glance, this would honestly look like a Slayer dub due to just him being a lot stronger.
Slayer's able to fight and beat Devoth, the same guy who created Doom's infinite multiverse, with his bare hands. Pretty much meaning it's lower complex multiversal threat versus a high complex multiversal threat, which would beg the question, why didn't not Master Chief beat not Venom?
Well, Galil, that may not exactly be the case for Spawn's end. On its own, Spawn's creation shaking the shout may just seem like he's shaking a universe or a small multiverse. But what you may not have known is that Spawn's cosmology is very consistently infinite in size in many ways, such as its infinite timelines, hell itself being infinite, and having infinite patches of infinity inside, statements of countless and bottomless spaces within the verse, and Elysium being an infinite realm, and more.
This means that by the description of the feat, Spawn would not only be shaking his own universe, but also be shaking the realms of heaven, hell, the spaces in between, and several infinite spaces as well.
Making Spawn, at minimum, also a high complex multiversal, to potentially much higher with Malbolgia's statements of being omnipresent and omnipotent. And Spawns can contend pretty fine just against characters both on par or stronger than Mali.
But ignoring that, strength isn't the only factor in this fight.
What ended up being the big factor here though was speed. Slayer can get to relativistic thanks to him dodging lasers and meteors, and potentially faster than light if you want to count him dodging light from the Con Maker and his ship feat. But Spawn on the other hand casually dodges light beams on several occasions. Some at the very least being on the level of 6 times faster than light. And Spawn can also scale the Angela's casual billions of times the speed of light Angel scaling. And if you really want to be mean, you can use Spawn's time-breaking feat and the occasions where the characters cross the infinite domains of hell in seconds, as we stated earlier, making the difference of Slayer's high end and Spawn's mid end a difference of straight up billions, into Spawn's high end incomprehensible. Like, there's...
And then the other big thing. Hacks. Slayer's weapons really wouldn't do much aside from 3. The Crucible, the Sentinel Hammer, and the big fucking gun 9000. These are Slayer's only tools that can pose a threat to Spawn, and the reason why is because they can bypass Spawn's absurd regeneration and could potentially rival Spawn's of hundreds of hacks that could eventually get around Slayer and instantly kill him. Especially if Spawn used his time freezing to just shut down any of Slayer's possible plans.
Slayer also just generally would have a lot more limited options given that he has a select amount of how much ammo he has, which would likely run out before Spawn's Necroplasm would, especially with a gigantic speed difference. As well as, if you name a manipulation, Spawn probably has it, and more. Duraneg, BFR, Soulfuckery, Phasing, frankly, Spawn is just completely and utterly absurd. Slayer may be strong and has some resistances to possession, mind control, cold, heat, biological, and diseases.
However, there really isn't any way Slayer's getting around Spawn's raw speed and hacks before facing his doom. Also, Spawn has dealt with Immortals, and Slayer really isn't that different.
So, despite being potentially as
Wait, Hippo!
What?
We forgot something. They're late 90s to mid 2000s movies. Let's be real, Hippo. Slayer had a better film.
Counter argument, the dick catching scene, and Doom Annihilation.
Fuck!
The winner is Spawn, the superior film.
Hey y'all, so me and Hippo here, we are in AVC right now, and we came to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
We were gonna say it at the same time.
Okay, alright, let's try that again. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, fuck, goddamn it. Okay, but anyways, thank you so much for watching this. We put way too much time and effort into this. And also, special thanks to literally everyone that made fan art for this. The submissions were crazy. this time.
Like
around.
that one, the one on screen right now. That one's crazy. And that other one, it's also on screen right now. Whoa.
I know,
So
right?
crazy.
But yeah, no.
That one sucks though. I hate this one.
Damn. But yeah,
This one, garbage.
yeah, no, but for real, if you guys want to submit fan art, make sure to join the Discord server down below.
Link below.
Link below. Hippo, do you have anything else to say?
Don't do drugs
All right, that's
unless you're you're that cool.
awesome. All right, but anyway, so before we end this episode, let's show the next time, shall we?
Who gave you permission to look upon me, you rabid dog?
I do as I choose, and I answer to no one.